me to let me know that they're not going to be here, so I am recording. Um, okay, so here's what we're doing today. I'm sure that you are pretty worn out, and it is. We got 2 more weeks, and then you are done. So with this class, so let's just see if we can soldier on and get through this. It's always hard after Thanksgiving, and this year is much more difficult. So, but I know you guys can do it. I think that you have done great so far, and so let's just get going. Okay, so what we're going to do, welcome. Many of you have not submitted your collaborative responses. Now, there's a group of you, of 5 of you, that still have to turn in your draft. So I'm not talking to you right now. But everybody else who had a draft and needed to review it, let me show you. I'm just going to show you so you can check out your, if it shows that you have submitted your collaborative response or not. And just got to go over here. Then I've got to go over here. I'm just going to show you this peer reviews. Okay. If you have an exclamation point by your name up here, that means you have not submitted the reviews in the proper way, which means you need to submit them through the peer review system. And if you forget how to do that, there's a video on this page that shows you how to do it. So I'm just scrolling through. If you have exclamation points next to your name, you still need to get those submitted in the correct way. Okay. So I'm just going to scroll through, scrolling through, scrolling through, scrolling through. Okay. And if you cannot remember how to do it, if I just go right back to this, just watch this peer review Canvas tutorial video, and it will tell you how to do it. Okay. So that is the first thing. I'm going to suggest that when we are in our breakout groups today, I would like you to turn your cameras on. I can tell you from my experience, just being the teacher, just seeing a bunch of names, it's difficult. It's difficult to know if anybody's paying attention. It's difficult to know if you're even there. And so um, I can deal with that, but I would like you, when you're in your breakout groups, to have your cameras on. Okay. So I would ask that you do that. Of course, I cannot come through the computer and force you to do it, but I'm going to ask you to turn your cameras on when you're in your breakout groups. Okay. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do group discussion of the content of the profile. So in your groups, you've read each other's drafts. I'm going to ask you to share your readings. I'm going to ask you to talk about them. I have also responded to everybody's drafts. So you should each have a long comment from me in the draft, in where you submitted it. So if you just go into that assignment, you'll see a very long comment from me. So what I'm going to give you 15 minutes to just talk about either what each other has to say about your drafts, or perhaps and what I had to say about your drafts. And then I want you to share that with each other. And as you're doing this, I would like you to have something to write on so you can take notes on what kinds of revisions you're going to do between now and the next deadline. Excuse me, I need to take a quick drink here. Hang on. So, everybody, as I'm moving you into these groups, I want you to get something to write with, get ready to take notes. After that, we're going to take a few minutes to talk about the analysis of the profiles that you completed. That was the smaller assignment from last week. And then I'm going to take you through a discussion of last semester's student profiles. I'm going to pull up the publication that we did, and I'm just going to talk through each one, tell you what I think works in each one, and tell you what I think doesn't work in each one. And I would ask that you have something to write with as well during that, so that you can get a sense of how I'm grading these and what I'm expecting. Then I'm going to tell you how to submit your revised content for your profile and your designed profile. That is due on Friday of this week. It was due on Thursday. I've added an extra day so you have a little bit more time. So I'm going to tell you how to submit that. And then I'm going to remind you, I'll do it again, that we're going to meet in Zoom on Wednesday. And then I'm going to give instructions for how to do the design in Microsoft Word and Google Docs. If you feel like you already know how to do this, you'll be able to drop off the meeting at that point. But if you're not sure, want me to take you through it, you'll stay on and I'll take you through that. That should take about 15 minutes. Okay, so does anybody have any questions at this point? Okay, let me get people into the rooms. Whoever's not, okay, so there's that one. And then there's, hang on one second. Oops, hold on, I'm doing this wrong. Okay, so in just a moment, I'm going to open up the rooms and I'm going to ask you to go in new rooms. And I just want you to talk about your profiles. What did you have to say about each other's profiles? What did I say about your profiles? You have 15 minutes to do this. I want you to leave this meeting with a plan of what you're going to revise. Okay. For the group who does not have the drafts in yet, you're going to go into a group and I'm just going to come in and talk with you and then we'll give you something to do. Okay. So any questions before I move you into the groups?
How long do I have to turn in that response? I just did comments.
Just get it in today.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Any questions? Okay, I'm going to open up the rooms. All right. And then I will come in and join group number 5. And then I will pop in on the other groups as well to see if anybody has any questions. All right. Groups are open. Oh, Anna, let me get you. Oh, good. Gotcha. Okay. Oops, Anna, I didn't get you in a group. Anna, where'd you go? Hi, group 5. How you doing? Okay. What I would like you to do, so none of you have your drafts in, okay? And that's all right. You still have time to finish it. Jackson, did you want to say something?
I turned in my draft. It was just on Saturday, like after you already made the groups.
Oh, you did turn in your draft?
Yeah, I was just a little
Oh,
late on.
that's right. That's right. You did turn yours in. Okay, so I've given you feedback on yours. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, so what I want you guys to do, all right, is I want you to just do some of the talking about who you're profiling, if you've had the interviews, where you think you're going to go with it. I want you to ask each other questions. So Jackson, I've given you some feedback. So maybe you could share some of the things that I gave to you, because that would probably help Lily and Nicholas as well as they start to write. Okay. And there are a couple other people in your group, and if they show up, I'll come put them in here. But you're just doing kind of the let's get started on this. Let's get moving on this. Okay. Sound okay? Okay, good. So send me a message if you need me. Okay. Hi, Isa and Jorge. How are you?
Isabella can't talk because she says her computer is old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You guys could, so pull up your chat. Jorge, can you see your chat?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Isa, I noticed that you wrote in the reviews that you have completed the reviews. I'm curious if you can, through chat, give some feedback to Jorge, or how did you provide the reviews? When you said you completed the reviews, how did you do that and what did you submit? Oh, you sent them an individual email of a screenshot of their reviews. Okay, cool. Okay, that's good. So, Jorge, did you receive that review?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. And Jorge, have you shared with Isabella what you thought about her profile yet, or are you about ready to do that?
I'm about ready to do that, basically.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So let's do this. So let's just have, I know this is kind of awkward. I'm sorry you don't have a microphone, Isa. It is, there's like things are falling apart all over the place. So Jorge, why don't you just talk to Isa, and Isa just type, okay? And you guys can do this back and forth. Um, so you can just do this back and forth and maybe share. It might be good for you to share what I said to both of you as well, because I think that you might be able to benefit from that too. So you've got plenty of time. There's a couple other people who are supposed to be in your group, and if they show up, I'll put them in there. Megan is in your group. She's not going to be here today, but hopefully Alex will show up. Okay. So does that work for you too?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'll call you back here in about 10 minutes.
I thought yours was good though.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, I have a really bad habit of procrastinating my assignments and not asking questions when I don't understand.
That's okay.
I'm here now if you guys want to ask questions.
I asked Clara, but I'll ask again. With the bias, you don't want any of our bias, right? Is that right?
So your bias will come out in just how you write about your subject. So, I mean, it's clear that you know, adore your father and think that he's fantastic, right? And so that will come out as you write about it, but you don't need to actually state it. Okay.
I don't know. So I don't need to be like my dad. He's my dad. It's like he's not even okay.
Right. So
Like
what
he's
you
not
do,
even.
yeah. So like with yours, with the, yeah, because you said my dad a lot all the way through. And
I did.
Did you? I might be confusing you with somebody else, honestly. I read so many of them. Did you not do that? Okay, then you didn't.
No.
Okay. So yeah, so you can say my dad like once, but then yeah, don't continue doing it. And it's like you're talking about him as if he's somebody you don't know, basically. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I can't
Because
remember.
the paper was saying how well does something about their bias, and I was like, oh, we were supposed to show it because the other two girls were like, oh, my grandma or my grandpa, and I mean Megan didn't do it and I didn't do it, so I was like, which one is the right one?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. So you should. Is Clara not here?
No.
She's never not here. How weird. Okay. Okay, yeah. So with the two, so what did Soraya and Clara both did that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and you two didn't. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so you two did it the right way. And I gave them feedback saying to pull out all the my grandpa, my grandma, that kind of a thing. So it's like you introduce them as a person, and you can say it once again, like if you want to do that at the beginning or something like that, but then don't keep, just name them, just say, you know, use their name, because they have names. So, what kind of feedback did I give to the two of you now that I've clearly gotten you confused?
You told me to like pick one theme and stick to it, and that I also need to write more like focus on a little like close it in, close the circle in because I'm all over the place and make it shorter.
Okay, yeah, yeah, because you were talking about a number of different issues in it, right? Okay, and is there one that you feel like you can land on?
I think I'm gonna land on the potential one.
Okay, that sounds good.
Um,
Yeah,
I
that sounds
hope.
really good. I like that. People will be able to relate to that for sure.
uh,
And Meg, yours was about your brother?
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, and yours was pretty strong. You had hit a lot of the things. I think I had just some specific recommendations for you, right?
Yeah, I just need to shorten it a little bit so that I can fit pictures and like my title.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. And I think I mentioned one thing, like, could you acronym the bilateral club foot?
Oh yes, I was actually just looking that up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because it's such a long term.
Yeah,
And
it is.
so often. Okay. Okay, so keep chatting with each other for about 5 more minutes. I'm gonna go check in on the other groups. Okay.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
You had the experience yet where, oh, hi. Hi,
Hi.
Tiffany. What's up?
You are muted.
Keep chatting. Keep chatting. I don't want to interrupt. Keep going.
Oh, we're just talking about our classes because we finished about our essays. So we were talking
did finish
about
about your
how
essays, okay.
our professors, like one of my professors, when he is lecturing, his internet will drop and he won't realize, and he'll come back like 10 minutes later.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Your
He
in your
still
face.
uses-
Oh, your wisdom teeth look so painful.
I'm
Oh, I'm
gonna-
so sorry. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm so sorry. I remember when I had to do that. Oh, it's the worst.
Everyone was like, "Oh, I got mine out like 3 days before Thanksgiving." They're like, "Oh, you'll be ready to eat." I didn't.
It was a
eat.
bad one.
I slept
Yeah.
all day on Thanksgiving.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, that's a bad, that can be a very bad operation. It's not fun.
Yeah, I have to go back to work tomorrow.
Ugh. Okay, so how are you guys doing? So I gave you both feedback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how did you understand it? Do you need any more feedback on my feedback?
So what I got was like I need to talk more about like the hardships. And I
Mhm.
was thinking one of the hardships could be like him having to graduate online and having to have his first year at college online.
Yes. Yeah, make it a COVID profile.
Okay.
That would be perfect. So we've got one other COVID profile.
Like should I like change how I write? Like,
I would
what is it?
focus it more on how he's dealt with COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not with himself having it, obviously, but like having to graduate with COVID, and then having to start college through COVID. That would be perfect. Yeah, so we have one other. So Jorge, his is about his sister who's a nurse, and his is focusing on COVID. So I think if you do a very similar thing from a student perspective on it, I think that'll be fantastic. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how about you,
So do
Roa? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tommy.
Okay. I feel like I could write more on that. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So like, yeah, focused in like experience with COVID, graduating from high school and then starting college. And that's something that a lot of people can relate to and a lot of people can have empathy for.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. That'll be good. That'll be really good. Okay. And Roa, how about you?
Yeah, no, I definitely understood your feedback, and also it was really helpful. I don't want to rewrite it until I've got an idea of what I'm going to do for like the design aspects, because part of it is just like word count. Like there's so much more I want to like include if I can. Like we had a very, very long interview and he had a lot of stuff to say in that interview. So I don't want to rewrite it just yet, but your feedback was very helpful and I definitely understood everything you were conveying to me.
Good. Okay. Yeah. And I like the idea of moving into design. And then, because at this point, you kind of like balance the design and the revision. So
Yeah.
you put it into design and then you start to take out a move. Yeah, absolutely. That sounds good. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go check on one more group and then I'll invite everybody back. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Keep chatting about your teachers.
Like,
You
like
guys should do the working on it.
yeah, it's a.
Anna, are you
That's
in a
one
car?
thing that's nice about her.
I am. I just got some attachments. I'm aligning my teeth. So that's why I was late to my orthodontist. I got out late.
You're not driving, are
Yeah.
you?
No.
Okay.
My husband is.
Okay. So let me check in with you all real quick. I provided you each with feedback. Do any of you want clarification on that feedback?
For me, oh, you can go first. You
Wyatt, go
sure?
first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me personally, I like understood what you said really well, and it kind of hit the light bulb in my head on what I need to do in the assignment. And then
Okay.
I also saw Anna's that was like a really good outline of how she did it in general. Of
Okay.
using like his transitioning from like the interview to history about the subject to going like
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I just need to build like a color panel and put some pictures into it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because at this point, so when we go back, we're going to talk about design. And at this point, what you end up doing is you end up kind of doing the design and the revision at the same time. So like you'll start moving it into the design and seeing how much space you have. And then you'll start kind of revising to fit that design. Now, some of you have to do some content revision anyway, but for some of you, you're kind of at that sort of balancing point where you're doing design and content at the same time. Okay.
And then one other question I had is, what's the like word count are you looking for exactly? I remember you saying like 500 to 950 or
Yeah, it's something like, so what I did is I looked at the previous examples, and they kind of range somewhere between 600 and 900, like 550, 600, 900. And that range is acceptable because you'll be able to alter your design to make that fit on the spread. So let's say you have, a shorter word count, you can have more pictures, or you can have a bigger header or that type of a thing. Okay. So that's why you start kind of balancing the two of them. So don't get too hung up on the word count. Just make sure that the story is complete.
Okay, so yeah, have like a start, middle, finish, and then build it around your like
Yeah.
theme of the website, which
Yeah.
kind of helps with your word count.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
the spread.
Exactly. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Augustina.
Yeah, so mine was, well, okay, like I'm kind of changing mine. So
You
it's
had
kind
a
of,
lot of different focuses.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm kind of just like the importance of travel for education.
Okay, good.
But do I give like an example of what she learned from traveling?
Yeah,
Or
definitely.
just one?
I give more than one.
Just more like lessons that she learned or things that she learned from like traveling to a different country?
Well, can you explain, like, can you sum up why you think traveling for education is so important?
I think, well, I mean, well, the person that I'm interviewing,
Right.
okay, my mom, she thinks it's important because in the US we're very like guarded from different countries than what we do in different countries.
Okay.
So if we go to these different countries, we can see like our position in the world very clearly because the US is really like we're like number one in the world. This
We're an
and that.
empire, right?
Yeah, we're an empire, but when you leave, you see all these things that like foreign policy, for example. That was one thing that I kind of wanted to focus on, especially in Honduras with the School of Americas. Like foreign policy was one thing that was like, no, like we're like that was a really shitty thing for you to do.
Right.
And then you don't hear about that in the US, but you hear about it when you leave.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm coming right back. Somebody's in the main room. I think they might be lost. So hold on one second, okay? I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
You're muted.
Sorry.
So my internet went down. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead. Ro is here too. I'll be right back in just a minute, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go back. No, you're fine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure college is free in Germany.
So, okay. So Augustina, what I would recommend that you do is I like that focus that if you grow up in the US, travel to somewhere outside of the US is important because it gives you a different perspective of what the US is in a world society. So I like that. And so what I would do if I were you is I would focus on that, get on that as opposed to the local Utah stuff. Okay. So broaden it out so that it can apply to anybody, not just people who grew up in Salt Lake.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, what did she learn and how did that change her perspective of what the US was? That will work out great.
And then do I give the example of foreign policy as something like that the US doesn't really teach until you get out of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
country?
Yeah. Yeah. And when
Perfect.
you guys,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, and when you guys submit your next drafts, I'm going to read them all again as well. Okay.
Okay.
So you're not on your own. Okay. Okay.
Do we just submit our next drafts through where we already submitted, like the content?
No, there's a whole new assignment to submit them through.
Oh gosh.
I'll show
So
you.
you're gonna grade what I submitted? Oh god.
No, I'm just giving you, no, yeah, you mean the draft that you submitted?
Yeah.
I just give you credit, not credit for that one.
Okay, good.
But I'll respond to them. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, let me just check in with, so Anna, Tracy, and Jen. Did any of you want some follow-up feedback? Tracy, did you get what I sent to you?
I did. I need to revise the quotes down into more narrative.
And you need to remove the questions.
And the questions, yeah.
Yeah, yep. So yeah, so if you take out the questions, and the questions will become sort of descriptors. And I think I gave you an example of how to do
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so you just need to turn it into the you've got great content. Your content is fantastic. Now it just needs
Awesome.
to kind of move into that profile form. Okay.
Okay, I had a question about the collaborative response.
Yeah.
Is there any way I can do it, turn it in tomorrow?
You did it, didn't you?
No, you see, I had
I
my.
swear your name was checked off.
Your
when
name
she
was checked off.
scrolling
You're
thing.
fine. You're
Oh,
fine.
okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, if I was just looking at the assignment too, and it looks like you commented on mine.
Yeah, Tracy, you're good.
Okay.
Okay. Anna and Jen, do you have any questions for me?
It's okay, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, so Jen, you just need to pick one person and then just tell their story. Okay. And I know that this is a challenge for you, and I totally understand, and pay attention to when we go back, because I'm going to talk to you about the design. And when
Okay.
you see it, then you'll be able to, then you can kind of do what I show you. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I know you're just so ready to get back to Korea. Like, I know that you're like, I'm done. Okay.
No, not yet.
Okay. Okay. Anna, do you have any quick questions?
I think my questions are mostly about design, so I'm fine now.
Okay, good. Okay, so I'm going to leave and I'm going to invite you all back in. Okay. All
Thanks,
right.
Tiffany.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna invite everybody back in now, close all rooms. Okay, and then we will move to design. Okay. Let's see. Is everybody back in? Not quite, almost. Okay. So what we're going to do is I am going to, hang on, let me find this. So you all did a very good job on let me share the screen again real quick. You all did, hold on, I don't want to do that, sorry. It's really difficult to drive when everybody's watching, I have to say. Okay. So you all did very well on this assignment, this analyzing profile design. I read everybody's responses. And what I noticed is that your critical reading and your visual analysis is pretty top notch. And that makes sense to me because you live in a visual world now. Everything online has this visual design component to it. And you're reading it constantly, you're interacting with it constantly, so you can see what's happening. So you all did very well on your responses to this, in terms of like how it's organized, how the reader, is guided through it, how they use size, shape, and color. So you did great on this. So what I want to do, just for, I don't know how long this will take. Hopefully it won't take that long. But what I would recommend that you do is I recommend that you get something to write with, because I'm just going to talk through these profiles, and I'm going to want you just to write down notes of what I talk about that resonate with you. That's like, oh, okay, I need to think about that as I'm designing. So I'm going to go right here to discussion of previous profile assignments. So you can come back to this later this week if you'd like to. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to talk through this example. So this is the set of student profiles that were produced in the spring, okay, last spring. This video is actually me talking to that class about the previous group of students that did profiles, all right? So I'm not, if you can go and watch this on your own, it's about 11 minutes. It's in March or April or something like that. But I'm going to do what I did in this video here right now, and I'm recording what we're talking about right now. So you'll have that. So I'm just going to open this up. And if you have something to write with, that's great. And I'm just going to start talking through this, okay? And I'm going to talk about what I think works in terms of design for these profiles, and what I think doesn't work in terms of design for these profiles. And it's a big file, so it's taking its own sweet time here. Hang on. And then, okay, here we go. Here we go. All right, I assume that you can see this unless you let me know, all right? So just raise your hand, let me know. I do not have my chat open, so please unmute yourself if you want to ask a question, all right? And I love being interrupted, I honestly do, okay? And so just, you know, turn off your mute and talk. Okay, so here's the first one, all right? This one's about somebody's father. What I think works well in this, I think the columns work very well in this. I think the pictures are nice. I think this picture right here, this first one, is a little bit too close up here, because I've got the title and then I've got the picture just jammed right up in there. For me, that's a little bit too close. I would probably like to see the title spread across 2 columns or something. Just because it all right here up in this corner, it looks a little crammed. Whereas this picture I like very much. There's a little bit of room around it. And it's a nice picture. You can see what it is. I think this is one of the few pictures that she had of her father as a young man. And so that's why this picture is not quite as good. The other thing that I would do with this one is this student used this font for what are called pull quotes. So you're pulling out some of your text and making it a separate quote. There's 2 ways of doing this. One, you can just put it into the text, put it into the text like it is here and just change the font. Or you can create a text box and you'll be able to move it around, and I'll show you how to do that when I show the design stuff. I think creating a separate text box is stronger because the way that this is done, it looks like it interrupts. Okay. The other thing I would recommend with this one is I would recommend probably getting rid of these spaces between the paragraphs and only using the indentation. If you have spaces and indentation, that's redundant. So it's doing 2 paragraph indicators and you only need to use 1. Okay. So, and because you want to have as much space as possible, I would probably get rid of these spaces. Okay, so I'm just going to move to the next one. This one I think is nicely designed in terms of the pictures. The pictures are very nicely balanced all around. I also like that she's got these little images here that have some comments. So it's like the classic chocolate chip and peanut butter chip cookies. Desserts are meant to look and taste good. Those are pull quotes. With this one, again, I would get rid of the space in between the paragraphs and I would just use the indentation. One concern I have with this one is I think the font is a little bit too small, just a little bit too small. And if you notice down here, she's got some room that she could have expanded the columns down into this space and probably made her font just like a half a point bigger. Okay, so just a tiny bit too small a font. And I think the title is great. I like that it's in the middle and the balance, so on and so forth. And feel free to interrupt me. Tell me what you like and what you don't like as well. Okay, this one, I don't like the background on this one because it's not the background. I don't like the black behind the font, but I think he was trying to figure out a way to make this stand out against this background. And so maybe it is the background that I don't like. I'm not sure. This one I find difficult to read. The font is really small. And part of the problem is that the columns are centered. So if you can see along the edge here, the columns are centered as opposed to left justified. Left justified? Yes, left justified. And so it just makes it hard to read. I do like the title and I do like the images as well. It's just the way that the text got put together makes it hard to read. Okay. Does anybody want to comment on anything before I go on? Don't love listening to myself talk this much. Okay, moving on. All right, this one I think is very well designed. It's using just the indentations. Okay, it's got some nice borders around the images. This is an example right here. Whoops, sorry, right here of the image being in the front part, but it is not crammed up against. Oops, it's not crammed up against the title. This one could have used a little bit more of the space around the borders. It could have, but this one also I think didn't have as much text, and so it created broader borders around. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it might have been to throw maybe another picture, maybe another pull quote. This is an example of a pull quote being pulled out of it and put in a box. Okay. This one is one that had the pictures on this one are too small for the text. Okay. This picture particularly needs to be bigger. And the way that the person could have done this is they could have the spacing that they have for their text. This is actually like 1.15 spacing as opposed to just one. I guess it's like, 1.15 spacing. So there's a little, if you can tell, there's a little space in between the lines. If this person took that out and then indented the paragraphs, they would have more space. There's also more space up here. Okay. The turning a shack into a home, this title is not that great. I don't mean the title, I don't mean the content. The content is fine, but it just doesn't look that great. So I think that one needs a little bit more design work on the title. Okay, this one, the pictures are really good. I think I might like to see them pulled out. I think I might want to see this one moved. Can you see how this one here just lines up directly with the column edge? I would probably move it so that it kind of, if these are the two columns, I'd have it somewhere in the middle so it's wrapped around on both sides, because this makes my eye just go straight to this line right here. As I'm moving through, I just go right there. This one could also make the font a little bit bigger. They would have room to do this if they used all of this space and if they got rid of the lines in between. Okay, the pictures are nice quality. It's clear what they're about. It's clear what they're about her. Okay. This one was way too short, and so they were trying to fill space. Obviously, these should not be double spaced. It looks terrible. What I would do with this one is I probably would have gotten this picture. I probably would have made this picture here much bigger. Maybe I would have wrapped the text around, you know, how like some of those examples the professional examples that we looked at. I would maybe have some more examples from Snazzy Labs. But this one actually just, it needed more content, basically. This one was kind of difficult because it basically needed more content. All right. Okay, here we go. This one's very well done. This student is also, I remember this student was also a journalism major, so had some experience in doing this. So I had higher expectations for this person. This one's very good. I might have moved this picture. I might have moved this picture just over here because these two are kind of close to each other, but they do balance out with the pull quotes. The font, having a different font on the title is really nice than having the same font as the actual text. Very nice. I like the color. I like the color contrast as well. Okay. The content of this one was very interesting as well. They became a drug smuggler. And so, you know, anything goes. And if you notice, and you can just kind of see having it indented here just works nicer than having the spaces in between. Okay. This one was designed very nicely. This one really took the idea of a spread to heart. The one thing with this one is this last column. Hang on, let me make sure that I'm correct on this. Yeah, this last column got really squished. And so I would just balance these columns. Okay. But this is nice. I mean, it has, you know, plenty of texts. These columns are centered. The text is centered in the columns. I would change that as well. Have your columns be left justified, not centered. I like the pull quotes, the stuff, the images behind work well. It's not too, it's interesting without being too busy. Whereas that skateboard one was just too busy. Okay. This one is not showing up well, so I'm not going to show you that one. This one, I think it's pretty strong design. I might have moved this map over here. I might have moved it over here. I may have made the text slightly bigger so that it took up the whole space. I like the pull quotes. This one has little, I don't know what these are called, captions. This one has little captions under the pictures that can be useful. The pictures are all very relevant. This one, the design is fantastic. This one, can you tell which one this mimicked from our examples?
The Eye of the Tiger.
Yep. Yeah, this one mimicked that one. And I'm not sure how this person got the background on here. I think they used Microsoft Word on this, and I'm not exactly sure how they got the background on there, but there may be backgrounds in there, or maybe it was Google Docs. But yeah, this one, so it's got, you know, really nice columning. It's got a circle for a pull quote. It's got captions under the pictures. It's got a bigger picture here, balances very nicely. Okay, and you'll be able to go back and look at these because these are in that, they're in that assignment. Okay. This one was too long. So let me show you. So this one, they actually did two 17 by 11 spreads, and you've only got one. Okay. So they took up 2 pages. And so this one had too much content, needed to be cut down. All right. But ways to do it. I mean, this one had to cut content, but to get rid of these spaces in between. And there's a lot of spaces in between. So this one probably would have had to cut maybe 20% of the content and then gotten it onto one page, but it has nice pictures. Background is nice. So the pictures are great, just it had too much in it. Okay. This one I think is nicely designed. It's just like, it's like not a super interesting design, but it's just solid. You know, it's like, I can see who Yanni is. This picture is talking about the boat or the Merchant Marines. This is Yanni getting his citizenship. And this is talking about, or this one reflects what he does with his family. So it's just solid. This, I would probably get rid of these spaces in between the paragraphs, because they don't look good, particularly because this one is not consistent. So, okay, this one was just a little bit too short. So having this big of an empty space is not very good. So I would probably try to have another picture to fill in. This person, I think, had enough content, but just maybe could have used a little bit more content, but just it needed more images for this one. And this is when you probably could do some more images. You probably could have made this marine symbol bigger, something like that. Okay, we're getting close. This one's a little bit too busy, but it kind of works. The reason it kind of works is because it's patterned busyness. So there's these subheadings that are patterned, okay? So you've got each paragraph is started with a subheading, and that each of the pull quotes are in red, so that's okay. But I think it's just got, the thing I think kind of blows this is that you've got too many different fonts going on this one. So you've got one font for the title, you've got one font for this quote here, you've got another font for the headings, you've got two different fonts for these pull quotes. There's too many different fonts going on here. So you probably want to have, you know, 2, maximum 3 fonts. And this has too many colors maybe as well. It's okay with the colors. I see this person was trying to reflect the colors from the images. Okay. This one, nicely designed, just solid design. I think that, you know, it's not fascinating, but it's solid. I think I would get rid of the extra spaces. This has got too many extra spaces. I'd probably make the pictures bigger and have the spacing a bit more 1 point. Okay. This one, it's just that this one has the font is too small. Okay. Font's too small. This person did not want to cut from their text, and it made it difficult. Now here's one thing. So note this. The more columns you use, the more text you're going to be able to get in, typically. Okay. So when you move from two to 4 columns, you're going to be able to get more in. So this person did it on Google Docs, and so they were limited to 3 columns, which I'll show you in just a second. But if you've gone to Microsoft Word, you could do more columns, and that probably would have helped. Okay, so this one, this one's just all text. To help it, I maybe would have moved this picture here to somewhere here in the middle, right here. That would have helped. Let's see, how many more do we got? Hang on, is that it? I think that's it. That's it. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sharing again. Sorry. And I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to just give you the instructions for submitting your revised content and design profile. And then I'm going to talk about designing in Word. And if you want me to show you how to do that, you can stay on. But if you don't want me to, if you already know how to do it, I can't get out of this, then you can leave. All right, so let me just go back to this week. Okay, so this week. All right, so here's what you're going to do. So between now and Wednesday, we're going to meet again on Wednesday. I want you to be working on your revised draft. Okay, so what that means is I want you to be working on revising your content, and I want you to be working on designing your design. The actual draft is due on Friday, but on Wednesday, what we're going to do is I'm going to get you back in these same groups, and you're going to share your screens, and you're going to show what you're doing. And we're just going to workshop. You're going to show how you revise some of the content. You're going to show how you started moving towards design. We're just going to talk about it with each other. Okay. Then that's all that I need to tell you, actually. So between now and Wednesday, you're just working and doing revision, working and doing revision. Okay. Then after we meet on Wednesday, I'm going to talk you through how to provide the feedback on the actual draft that you upload. All right. So at this point, if you want to drop off, you can drop off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through designing using Microsoft Word and through Google Docs. Okay. So if you don't need that, go ahead and drop off. If you do need that, stay on. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. Now, right here, I have designing profiles on 11 by 17 spreads. Okay. There are three videos in here. They'll come up slowly that you can watch, but I'm going to take you through these. I'm not going to show you the videos right now, but these can be reminders for you. I recorded this one in the spring, and then I just recorded this one yesterday. But so let me go to Word first. Okay, so we're going to design a 17 by 11 spread. So the first thing that you need to do is, so I just open up a new file. Okay. But I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Page Setup. And on paper size, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a custom size. What I've found is you can't set this up with 11 by 17 and then turn it landscape. It for some reason, it doesn't work. So we're going to do Manage Custom Sizes. And right here, I'm going to type in, actually, I've already created this one, so it's there, but I'll show you how to do it. So you press this plus, and then the default is 8.5 by 11, but I'm going to turn that into 17 by 11. Okay. And I have all of the margins. I want to make them all 0.25. So 1/4 inch. Then I'm going to press OK. Now here's the key. You got to keep the orientation here on portrait. If you turn it to landscape, you're going to mess up. Okay. So keep this on portrait, press OK. And now, as you can see, let me make this smaller. I have a 17-inch by 11-inch spread. Okay. Now, let me go grab some text to just put in here. Hang on. Let me just go open something. Let's see. I'm going to do a teaching observation I did of a teacher. Okay. So I'm just going to grab this. Okay. And I'm going to put it in here. All right. Now that looks terrible. Okay. But so in order to create columns, I'm going to grab all of it, and I'm going to go to Format, and I'm going to go to Columns. Okay. Now I can choose 1, 2, 3, left, right. I can do whatever I want. If I just go 3, it's going to make them individually spaced. Okay. Individually. Sorry. It's going to make them, what's the same word? What's that word? They're going to have the same spacing. Okay. But I can go in there and I can change the spacing. So I can change them into, oh, here's equal column width. I can turn that off, and I can change the column sizes in here. So I could make, let's see, I'm going to make this one 3 inches. And I'm going to make this one 6 inches. Okay. And if you can see right here, I'm changing the widths of the columns. But for right now, I want to keep them equal. I can put a line in between them if I want. The other thing I can do is I can increase the number of columns. And if I'm using Word, I'm probably going to do 4 columns, or I'm going to do them with different widths. So I'll just go like that, and it immediately puts them into columns. And as you can see, this takes up space down to here. But when I put, oops, wrong thing. But when I put them into columns, I've got more space. And I don't know why that is. It's just how the column thing works. I don't know. It's probably a physics thing, and I don't understand, or geometry thing, and I don't understand that. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so how do I put in images and text boxes? So for my title, I need to do a text box. So I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to go down here to Text Box. I'll create a text box. I'm going to draw it, and I'm going to say, here is my title. Okay. And then I can format this text box. I've clicked on it. And if you see right up here, here's the border. And I'm going to take off the border, but I'm also going to fill it with a color. All right. I can choose any color I want. And then what I can do, if you see right up here where it says wrap text, I'm going to go like that. And I'm going to do tight or square. I prefer tight. And then what happens is as I move it everywhere, the text moves around it. Okay. Now, obviously, this title is way too small. So I'm going to grab that and I'm just going to format this like I normally would. I'm going to make it, I don't know, 36 inch, maybe 36 point, maybe I'm going to make it bigger. I'll probably center it. Maybe I want to make it a different color, that kind of thing. I might make it a better font, that type of a thing. I can change the size of the box, so on and so forth. Okay. And I can move it wherever I want. That's the same way I'm going to create my byline. And my byline is literally by Tiffany Rouse-Culp. So I'm going to go insert text box. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to write by Tiffany Rouse-Culp. I don't need that to be very big. I'm going to, oops, sorry, I've got to wrap the text around it. Then I'm just going to grab this and I'll move it up there. Okay. And as I change the size of the text box, I spelled my own name wrong, or no, it says it's wrong. Then the text will move around it. Okay. I will probably take the border off of this because I don't think that the border looks good. Again, I just go up here. I go to border, no outline. It takes the outline off. Okay. I do the same thing with pictures. I want to insert a picture. I'm going to just go grab a picture from my file. Let's see, what pictures do I have? Let me find a picture. Hang on, sorry. Where's my pictures? Here, I have no idea what this is. Okay. Oh, it's a picture of t-shirts. Okay. So that'll come up down here. I highlight it. I go over here. I wrap the text tight. And then, oops. And then I start moving it up. And I can move it around. I can make it bigger. I can make it smaller. I can put a picture border on it. I want it to be orange and I want it to be like that. Oh, maybe that doesn't do that. I guess those are pre-programmed borders. Picture border, oh, wait. So if I make it orange, there we go. I can do that kind of stuff. All right. So that's how I do it in Microsoft Word. Now, when you submit it, when you submit your draft, you're going to have to submit it as PDFs because if you submit it like this, all your formatting is going to go away. So to save as a PDF, you go to File, and you go to Save As, and you just have to change the format right here to PDF, export it, and then you'll upload the PDF. Okay. So that's how you do it on Microsoft Word. Google Docs is slightly different. So if I go to Google Docs, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to go New, Google Docs. I'm going to open a new Google Doc. Okay, as you can see, this is the default 8.5 by 11. What I need to do is I need to go to File, Page Setup. Right here, it says paper size. I need to go to Tabloid. And this one, I can do landscape and it works. But I do need to change my margins to 0.25 all around. Then when I press OK, now it's hard for you to see, but let me see if I can make it a little bit smaller. So this is a 17 by 11 page. Okay, so I'm gonna go grab my text again. And whoops, wrong thing. I'm just gonna put my text in there. Okay, again, looks bad going across all of it. With Google Docs, to put it into columns, you have Format right here, Columns, and I can only go up to 3 columns on Google Docs. You can't go more than 3 for some reason. I fought with it for about 2 hours when I learned this, and you can't. So this will be in 3 columns, okay? To insert a picture, you do Insert Image, upload it from your computer or through a URL or whatever. I'm going to go grab that same picture somehow. Where'd it go? I'll do a class picture. No, I'll do my face. Okay, there I am. Fantastic. But right down here, I don't have to go up to look for how to wrap it. The wrapping texts are right here. So this is inline, this is wrapped, and this is breaking. So it'll put it in between 2 sections. So I'm going to wrap it and I'm going to make it smaller. Then, oh, you know what I did? Dang it. I replaced my entire text with this picture because I had the text highlighted. So let me redo this. See how I have my text highlighted? When I inserted that picture, it replaced the whole thing. So if you accidentally do that, don't panic. Just do Command Z and then it'll come back. So here's my text. Now I'm going to insert my picture again. Hang on. So I'm going to upload my picture. I'll find it again. Okay. God, that's big. Hang on. Let me make that smaller. Can't handle that. Okay. So see, right now I can't really move it. If I move it, it just chunks up the whole text. But if I click on it and I do wrap text, it will wrap it around. Hang on. Okay, and somehow I lost the column on this last paragraph. So I'm just going to grab the whole thing again, format, columns, 3 columns, and that will take care of it. So see, now as I move it around, it'll just do that kind of thing. Google Docs is slightly tricky with text boxes for you to create your titles. So I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so insert. So this is for creating text boxes. I'm going to do insert, drawing, and I'm going to go to new. Then within drawing, right here is text box. Then I draw the text box in here. I do my title here. Okay. And I do all the formatting inside of this space here. So I'm going to make it much bigger. I'm going to make it like 60. I'm going to make sure that there's no border on it. Hang on, where's the border? Border color right here. And I'm going to make it transparent so I have no border. I'm going to make it centered. And I'm going to draw the text box a little bit smaller around it. If I want to fill it, I'm going to fill it here. Then I'm going to save it. And once I do that, it's then an image. I can do the wrap text, then I can move it around. Okay, so that's how you do it in Google Docs. All right. I believe in Google Docs you can create a color on the background. I haven't really explored how to do that, but feel free to look around and figure out how to do it. But those are the main design functions that you'll need. You're welcome to do more. You have to do all of these. Yeah, you have to do the title, you have to do images, and you have to do columns. So you can't really do less. Okay. So let me pause there and let me see if anybody has any questions.
What if it doesn't fill all the way to the bottom like yours?
Okay. If it doesn't fill all the way to the bottom, then I have a few options. I can add some more pictures in. I can do pull quotes. So let me show you how I would do a pull quote. So what I would do, let's say I want to highlight this statement. It's been a pleasure to conduct this teaching observation. I'm just going to copy that. Then I'm going to go in, I'm going to go insert, drawing, new. I'm going to create a text box. I go like that, create my text box. I have to format it in here, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to make it like 24 point. I'm going to center it. I'm going to actually make it more of a box as opposed to a rectangle. Hang on, let me make this. I got to make sure that the box is wrapping around it. So hang on, I'm just trying to grab that. I'm going to have a border on this one just because I feel like having a border for this particular one. I'm going to border it in red and I'm going to give it 3-point weight. And this is my text box now. Okay. I'm going to save and close it. And there it is. And then I can wrap the text around it. And so then I can, as I'm doing this, I'm taking up more space. Okay. This one, I think my text is a little bit too small in here. So I'm just going to make the text a little bit bigger. Okay, so there I've got that. Now it seems like it's fitting a little bit better, but I still don't like these spaces. So I'm going to get rid of those spaces. And then I notice, this margin over here really is kind of small. And so maybe I'm going to go in file with my page setup. And maybe I'll make that left margin just a little bit bigger. And maybe I'll make that right margin just a little bit bigger. Oops. And when I did that, I need to grab all of the paragraphs when I do that. Okay. And so I'm slowly taking up more space. Okay. And so, and just play with that. That's why at this point, when you're revising your content, I might even recommend, so some of you have to do some kind of significant revision where you've got to turn questions into descriptions. Some of you are just doing more specific revision. Get it close to where you feel like, yeah, I feel pretty good about this, but don't have it complete. Because when you get it into the design, you're probably going to need to do some revision to make it fit. Okay. You might need to add a little bit more. You might need to take some stuff out. So it becomes this balance between the design and the content. Okay. Okay. Other questions? Isa, are you asking a question in chat by any chance? Yes, Nicholas, this is being recorded. All of this has been recorded. That was probably asked a long time ago. Okay, it sounds like you guys are all right. Okay, so between now and Wednesday, just start moving towards that draft. Okay, start moving towards the draft of the full design. I will upload this, and then there's also videos as well. And then we'll meet on Wednesday and we'll just workshop. And depending on how many people are, we might just workshop with everybody. I mean, we're going to have bigger groups than you had before because we want to be able to see as many as we can and just give feedback and give comments. And then you'll be able to finish up your draft for Friday. Okay? Good? All righty. I will see you then on Wednesday. Bye.